right, let's jump right in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Marillion's warm, wet circles.
Okay, sounds good.
And our guide for this deep dive is an insightful review from Igloo on Vinyl. This song, it's deceptive.
Really?
On the surface, it might seem like a typical love song. But trust me, it's so much more. We're talking about the whole spectrum of human connection here, from those exhilarating highs to the gut-wrenching lows.
Wow, that's quite a range. Let's be real. Have you ever, really listened to the lyrics?
Right.
We're talking their '84 album, Clutching at Straws, and this tract, man, it takes a simple phrase, warm, wet circles, and somehow it's like a whole philosophy of being human.
It's incredible, isn't it? Fish, he was the vocalist back then. He had this way. Just a few words, and suddenly you've got this whole universe of imagery. It's like he's painting with sound, capturing these.
It's almost like a cheat code, right? Like, how do you
Yeah.
pack so much into warm, wet circles?
Exactly. It's deceptively simple, but it gets under your skin. You hear those words, and you're thinking about love, loss, joy, pain, all those messy, complicated human experiences.
No pressure, fish, right? So the song doesn't waste any time. It throws us straight into the scene. We're in a bar, right? It's kind of gritty. This guy, last night's hero, he's worse for wear, collecting his dues. You get this sense of consequences, maybe?
Absolutely. It's that weight of the past, those choices we make that linger, but then bam, the whole mood shifts. Suddenly, we're talking about a honeymoon gambled on a ricochet.
Yeah. What's that about? It's like whiplash.
It's that contrast, right? The weight of the past and then this impulsive leap into the unknown. That word ricochet. It's not just about being impulsive. It's that love itself can feel like a gamble. Like it throw you off course, send you bouncing in a new direction.
It's interesting you say bouncing because the song keeps circling back to these images, right? Engagement rings, pool balls, headlights in the dark.
Exactly. That circular imagery, it's subtle, but it's always there, reinforcing this idea of cycles, these patterns we find ourselves trapped in, for better or worse.
And just when you think you've got a handle on it, the song throws this curveball, warm, wet circles. It's not just about romantic love, is it? It takes this dark turn. Suddenly we're talking about a mother's kiss on a broken heart, a cigarette burn, even a bullet hole.
Right. It's like the bottom falls out. You realize those warm, wet circles can represent so much more. They're comfort, yeah, but they're also pain. That duality, it's at the heart of what it means to be human. We crave intimacy, connection, but it often comes at a price.
And the song doesn't sugarcoat that, does it? It throws it right in your face. It's like you've got these lines about young love, stolen lipstick, a white lace wedding, these milestones, these almost cliche moments we associate with life, and then bam, you're hit with something raw, something painful.
And that's the brilliance of it. Warm, wet circles isn't trying to preach or offer easy answers. It's holding up a mirror, reflecting that messy, contradictory experience of being alive. It's saying, look, this is it. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the painful, it's all part of the same tapestry.
It's like we're all part of this intricate, messy dance caught in these cycles we can't escape. And those warm, wet circles, they're those moments, those flashes of intense feeling that make up a life. The joy, the sorrow, the heartbreak, the ecstasy. It's all part of the same thing.
Exactly. We're all navigating these circles, leaving our own marks on them, but also being shaped by the experiences they bring. And recognizing that shared experience, that's where the real connection lies.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the full spectrum, not just the pretty parts.
So it's not about avoiding the warm, wet circles. It's about leaning into them, right? Saying yes to the messiness, the vulnerability, the whole shebang. Because that's where the real meaning, the real beauty lies.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about being present, being open to whatever life throws your way.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, finding a little bit of grace in the midst of it all. And as the song progresses, you get this sense of surrendering to these warm, wet circles, of accepting them as part of the human experience. Like in those lines, these are the circles we must go through.
Exactly. It suggests that these connections, these encounters, they're not always easy or straightforward, but they shape us. They're part of what makes us who we are.
And Igloo on Vinyl definitely picked up on that depth, giving the song a solid 8 out of 10 in their review.
That's a pretty high score. It goes to show how impactful Warm Wet Circles is.
Definitely. And it's not just this song, though. It speaks to Marillion's overall brilliance in crafting music that's both emotionally resonant and intellectually stimulating. They really make you think, don't they?
Absolutely. There's always something more to uncover, something to ponder long after the music stops.
Exactly. And that brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with. If our lives are indeed a tapestry woven from these warm, wet circles, what does your tapestry look like? What are the threads that stand out, the patterns that have emerged over time? Think about it, and let's continue this conversation another time.
I like that. It's definitely something to think about.
Until next time.
See you then.